Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex and this is Big Baby Reviews. Today is Jack Kirby Monday and we are back with reviews of the Fantastic Four. Without further ado, I'm going to open up the old trade here and we're going to go to the next issue of Fantastic Four that's going to be covered. That is the Fantastic Four issue number 14. How much action, how much drama do you crave? Be on hand when the Submariner strikes. So Namor is back. Obviously a smart idea to bring back popular characters, right? This early Fantastic Four run introduces lots and lots of new characters, as you can see from last issue. I'm not sure if that was the Watcher's first appearance. I think it is. I can't remember. It's been a while since I did the review, but of course, like I said, you know, the popular characters tend to come back. The Red Ghost didn't come back so often. I mean, John Byrne brought him back at some point, but yeah, not one of the better villains. But Namor, always good fodder for stories in the Fantastic Four. So once again, the Fantastic Four face the threat of Submariner and the merciless Puppet Master. Okay, so Puppet Master, they're trying to bring him back as well. Kind of odd this early on that we're bringing back characters we've already seen. So maybe not quite the conduit for Jack Kirby's creativity that it seems to be maybe later on in the run, when maybe around the time when he hits Galactus and stuff like that, and then really starts pumping out lots of different cool, pretty elaborate concepts. But here he's still kind of keeping it simple. Also, it's early Marvel days, so I think Jack Kirby's probably drawn a lot of Marvel books, which he pretty much did through most of his run, right? But he's probably being stretched pretty thin across the whole Marvel universe. As you know, he's created probably 75-80% of the characters that inhibit it. Love this shot, a very Kirby shot, right? With the turned around angle. You know, are they upside down? Are they sitting down? Or are they in a rocket? What's going on, right? Kind of a precursor in a way to the movie 2001 by Stanley Kubrick, one of my favorites. And, you know, I got to shit on the art a little bit in this issue. I'm going to say every time Dick Ayers is the inker, he's just really, you know, I understand back then, none of these guys really saw themselves necessarily as artists or doing art. They were kind of doing a commercial job, and that's fine. But there's just, yeah, I think with a lot of, the machinery is fine, but when it comes to the figures and stuff, it's very rough and looks very kind of a old-timey kind of style. But, you know, Jack Kirby, underneath his structure, always stands out and is solid, and just setting a scene like this, an establishing shot with the car, camera mounted to the car, the Jeep, you know, all of the people in the crowd. He's not cheaping out, where maybe, you know, earlier issues I find like he was, you know, sacrificing the background quite a bit. And again, let's just point out that, you know, once we get down into the storyline and we've got, you know, 7, 8, 9 panels per page, it can get a little bit boring, honestly. I mean, none of the panels are composed badly in any way. It's just kind of a more old school kind of storytelling that eventually Jack Kirby's going to, you know, start not consciously pushing against, but actually, you know, just pushing forward, I guess is how I would put it. You know, there's still a lot of just basic storytelling tropes of that period that he's using here, that he's eventually going to break out of. So, you know, I don't have much to say about the storyline. The dialogue by Stan Lee, we've talked about before. It's just basically Stan Lee rewriting what Jack Kirby has told him or has left in the margins. You can go online and see some of his old original pages with notes on the side there. The Puppet Master, once again, showing up with this, you know, clearly for, you know, maybe back then he didn't know, but he clearly wants to be like a trans person or something, or you know, it feels like he's in a woman in a man's body with the look on his face anyways. Namor too, I've always thought that like the weird kind of eyebrows, it just makes him look slightly like a tranny. Some great jerk Kirby. There's a great kind of Jack Kirby monster fish, which will get more monstrous in the years ahead whenever we have some underwater adventures. But yeah, like there's nothing yet. Every once in a while, I'm just trying to find, you know, some of that Kirby magic on each page that I can kind of point out. You know, early kind of depictions of energy emanation or surprise, or, you know, very kind of, it's not literal artwork here. It symbolizes kind of what's going on, the turmoil going on inside of Sue Storm when she sees Namor's sexy eyebrows. This look here, Jack Kirby brings back a bunch. I've got an issue, the last few issues of OMAC, which unfortunately end kind of abruptly. He faces a villain who steals the world's water, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of sucks it all up from lakes and stuff. And his costume design is basically this. I think it's even the same color. Here's a good shot. Here's a shot that we're going to see Jack Kirby do over and over, right? The head-on shot of the male action star, but kind of tilted, right? It's a Kirby staple. But the inking on this just kills it and makes it look so boring. It's a great shot of the Puppet Master in his transgendery glory. The thing flying like a mini plane coming off of the Fantastic car is pretty funny. I mean, I think I talked in past issue, they've kind of revamped the Fantastic car from looking like a big tub to an actual kind of cool looking vehicle, which is still, I would assume, Jack Kirby's doing, right? Maybe he was, you know, on just quick deadlines in his early issues and then eventually realized, yeah, it does look kind of lame. Let's try to make it look cooler, right? I could be wrong, though. Is he fighting a giant clam? Certainly looks like it. Pretty ridiculous. But yeah, again, there's just something in here that to me, like it's the art, it's the inking that really irks me on this, because it starts looking like, you know, the old Marvel 60s cartoon where they basically just took shots from the comic and just animated one movement or made him zoom in or something and the mouth was about the only thing that moved. I feel like it's that same quality of drawing here, right? Because on that animation, because it was copied from the actual artwork, it looked a little kind of crude and rough. I'd say this looks very crude and rough to me overall, and unfortunately makes Jack Kirby's art more unappealing. Thankfully, we get great compositions like this page here, and Mr. Fantastic actually doing some funny, interesting stuff with his powers here. But yeah, again, pretty tame pages from Jack Kirby early on in the Fantastic Four. And the Puppet Master as a concept, I mean, it feels from a bygone age, definitely now reading it. I really enjoyed the Puppet Master movies in the 90s, the horror movies. But it feels like this kind of, you know, I'm realizing when I look at a lot of Jack Kirby stuff that he's taking tropes from an earlier generation than what I'm aware of for some of his characters. Not all of them, of course, right? But certain archetypes that really aren't so relevant today anymore, right? I mean, the Puppet Master today wouldn't be so literal as to create puppets and manipulate them, right? I guess the Puppet Master today would maybe use, you know, the internet, social media or something like that to influence people's minds, right? There he is with his OMAC water sucker design again. And yeah, still, I feel like, you know, the stretch between a comic book and animation and cartoons from that period isn't that far off, right? In the aesthetic and the look of them, it's pretty much the same kind of level of drawing, where eventually comics become a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Involved, I guess, than animation, right? Animation tends to stay and keep its stuff simple and just basic lines and stuff, where the, you know, comic book art will become more illustrative and more lush, and artists will have more time to create it as well. So that probably helps. But right now we still kind of, yeah, this early Fantastic Four to me feels like animation level work, you know, get through it as quickly as possible. There can be some rough spots, and, you know, fortunately Jack Kirby's compositions are strong, and they're still keeping, you know, some elements of it interesting. I like this pose here and the bit of foreshortening on the arm, Namor falling back. I mean, Kirby's body language is always pretty on par, so. And there you go, guys. That is my review of Fantastic Four, issue number 14. If you are subscribed and you're still watching, thank you so much. I really do appreciate your support. If you are watching but you are not subscribed, please do so below. It really helps us out, helps the channel grow, and helps get us out there to other people who are into comics just like we are. So everyone out there, if you've been watching, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and have an awesome day. King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13. 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KIngCOMICS.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, Max Rex or Big Baby.
Like